Well, tomorrow is the day, folks, where we finally end up looking at the culmination of all of the opponents for the Buffalo Bills in 2025. And we finally end up getting a damn schedule. And might I say, there have been so many rumors about how this schedule is going to be constructed, all the way to a Sunday night football matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals, which that has been the latest rumor, like really circulating around for the past 24 hours. Some people are saying it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens. And then also, what exactly is it going to look like for primetime matchups, right? How many Monday night footballs, Sunday night footballs, Thursday nights? Will we have a holiday game, right? Specifically on Thanksgiving. I think that it's all but been answered. The Buffalo Bills are not going to be participating internationally. So the rumor, or more so the manifestation of Buffalo potentially playing in Ireland, just ended up going down the toilet this morning. It sounds like the Minnesota Vikings are going to be having back-to-back matchups in Ireland and then in England, filling the Bills' potential spot there. No Christmas Day matchups, no Black Friday matchups. So the only potential holiday could be Thanksgiving, but I feel like that's kind of unlikely right at this point. But I still think it's fun to put together a wish list for what we would like to see out of said schedule. There's no question that the Buffalo Bills opponents this year are certainly daunting, but I got to tell you, based off of how this team was put together this offseason, and then also based off of the DNA that has been instilled within this organization since we, in my opinion, found the best two coordinator tandem as humanly possible, I feel very confident. And based off of where we are playing some of these heavy hitters on the schedule, a lot of the big names are going to be at home. So that is very encouraging from what we have been seeing. So on today's episode, we are going to be unpacking all of the potential primetime predictions. I certainly want to understand where the chat is as far as their own speculations, where I would like to see a gauntlet, right? As many of us know, with each and every single year, we typically have a 4 to 5 game stretch where you are seeing, heavy hitter after heavy hitter after heavy hitter. And then more importantly, just some hot takes, because tomorrow is the day and I'm very excited to unpack and react with you. In fact, I am going to be live tomorrow evening, live reacting to the full Buffalo Bills schedule. So if you haven't already, I highly recommend when you subscribe, turn on bell notifications so you don't miss out on an opportunity to celebrate one of the high points of the offseason, right? Because after this, it's largely going to die down. Yes, we have OTAs, which I suppose is exciting. But as far as like actual news and things to get excited about after the schedule release, it's going to die down pretty tremendously. But have no fear, I will still be uploading and I will still be going live daily, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. EST, bringing you all of the Buffalo Bills news that your little heart desires. Folks, like I said, I'm going to react and I am going to discuss the topic at hand today for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then, like every single episode, I transition over to my live chat audience, where you guys get to take control of the conversation in my daily Q&A segment. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the overall reaction. All right, right here, folks, we're taking a look at our opponents. And like I said, it sounds, based off of rumors across the mill, that the Buffalo Bills are going to be facing off against the Cincinnati Bengals Sunday Night Football. We will get a final answer tomorrow when Josh Allen is live on the Today Show. I think all the signs are pointing to the fact that is going to be announced. Now, us playing the Bengals week 1, so in my opinion, it's kind of a head scratcher, because say that I'm the schedule maker for the NFL. What I want to do is I want to be able to put together the best possible matchup on the face of the planet. And say that it was up to me, I probably would have done the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens, right? Like both teams that I think that would be almost automatically competitive. Now, Cincinnati, while I do think that they do have an opportunity of course, right outside of the fact that their defense is absolutely terrible, I do think they have a chance of winning 10 plus games this year just based off of their offense moves. But this team historically starts off very slow. right? Past 3 or 4 years, ever since Joe Burrow has been the quarterback over there, this team has always started off 2-2 or 1-3. And then they end up turning it on toward the back half of the season. Now they are asked to go into Buffalo on week 1, Sunday Night Football, with a brand new defensive coordinator, a defensive end, a star defensive end who is currently holding out if he does not get his contract, 2 rookies that are holding out right now, which is even more intriguing. I'm going to go on ahead and make a video about that a tad later. But more than likely, it looks like the Bills are playing Cincinnati. And I'm happy about this because, again, they do struggle at the beginning of the season, right? And they have a lot of new pieces. I think Buffalo has the advantage not only from playing at home and being undefeated at home last year, but I think that we are just in a better position as far as continuity. So I'm feeling very good about that if Cincinnati ultimately ends up being the first opponent. So now it comes down into like what's going to be the next couple of primetime games. I think we can really leverage and get excited about some of the games that could potentially be a Sunday night or a Monday Night Football. Philadelphia, for me, had to be one of the primetime games that I thought would be on our calendar, but I'm not sure about you guys, but they have a lot of primetime games that have been announced already, right? So they have the first Friday night football game, I want to say. Excuse me. It's the first Thursday night football game right against the Dallas Cowboys. I also saw that they are headlining Black Friday, and then I think they also announced one more primetime game for them as well. I feel like Eagles Buffalo Bills smells like yet another Sunday night football or a Monday night football, perhaps. But for all we know, this could completely shock the world. Kansas City, while it seemed like a Sunday night potential matchup, CBS typically owns the rights to that. And this just smells to me like a November 4 o'clock game. I don't think that they are going to be putting Buffalo and Kansas City right in prime time just based off of rights alone, right? Like CBS is going to hold on to that with their cold, dead hands before it is ripped away from ESPN or Prime, etc. So I could see that. But my 3 primetime games at home are likely going to be Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Philadelphia. I could probably see all 3 of those potentially being that. Then Kansas City is going to be a 4 o'clock. And do not sleep on the New England Patriots either being a random Thursday night matchup. And that could either be one of the away games or the home game against New England. I think that there's a lot of hype around the organization, a brand new head coach, a QB where a lot of people are saying, oh my God, he's the next Josh Allen, whether or not that you want to believe it. All right. That is indeed a narrative that is going around. So I could see that really wanting to spell as some Sunday night viewership as far as football is concerned. I don't think Miami is going to be a primetime matchup since there's so many questions around that team, especially since they, bar none, had the worst offseason right out of any team in the AFC East. I don't see Miami having very many primetime games this year. Saints is a 1 o'clock game. Bucks is probably going to be a 1 o'clock game. Both of the Jets games more than likely will be 1 o'clock games. And then it comes down into some other primetime actions, right? I think out of any away game that we potentially could be playing, right? I think it might be Bills, Houston Texans for a rematch of last year during the regular season. Last year, the Texans ended up beating the Bills right in NRG Stadium. I think that they might find a bit of value of putting that right in front of the world once again, although that now that Stephon Diggs is not there anymore, maybe that narrative dies. But I think Houston, Buffalo makes some sense. And then, I mean, maybe Steelers, perhaps. And then maybe just some shit team, right? Like some shit team like the Falcons or something on a Monday Night Football, because they try to give every single team one primetime matchup between the two. So when it comes down into it, I do think Buffalo has 5 primetime games. I think that we can go on ahead and just check off the box of the teams that are 100% going to have a primetime matchup with Buffalo. Bengals, Ravens, Eagles. I'm pretty sure we can all agree right there. And then the next 2, where I am leaning heavily is probably going to be Houston away and New England Patriots away. Say that I had to guess. So 5 primetime games. It makes sense. It's the Buffalo Bills. It's Josh Allen. It's the rating MVP. They're going to be put forefront, right in front of the NFL world. So I think that's pretty safe to assume. Now, then it comes down into who exactly do we want, right? Like, who exactly do we want for and so the gauntlet, right? Because we know that the Buffalo Bills schedule always has a 3 to 4 game span where we ultimately end up playing a lot of these like heavy hitters. Say that it was up to me and say that we are playing the Cincinnati Bengals week 1. Give me the second that the Cincinnati Bengals are over with, fly the Ravens in. Give me the Bengals and the Ravens week 1 and week 2. Because listen, folks, I hate to say it, but we are beyond that time as Bills fans where we walk around scared. We are beyond that time. Like, we are coming off of a season where we were the highest scoring offense in franchise history. We are coming off of a season where even going through our defensive struggles, we still led at one point with turnover differential. We were still hyper competitive, and we had one of the most successful seasons statistically on paper in quite some time. I don't want to play scared. I want to have, at least within the first 6 games of the year, say that I had to guess and say that I had my wish list. I would love to play the Bengals, the Ravens, then the Philadelphia Eagles within the first 7 weeks of the season. Give me the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Eagles in the first 7 games of the season. Just go on ahead, make your mark. And we all know that Buffalo plays great football in November and December. I'm still looking at these opponents, and I'm still feeling very confident about what our final record could potentially be. I'm going to save that until the actual schedule comes out for my final record prediction. But yeah, guys, listen, we are sitting here patiently waiting for the schedule to be released so we can start really putting together narratives, understanding matchups, and just giving our best educated guess on how this season is going to turn out on the final year of Highmark Stadium. It's the farewell tour. It's the farewell season over in Buffalo. And it's definitely some exciting things indeed. But folks, listen, this is the time of the episode where I ultimately end up switching over to my Q&A segment. Again, like I said, I am trying to do my best to make sure that I give a wonderful experience for anybody watching the replay of this episode and also listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So when you submit your question, please do me a favor and begin it with a Q dash or an S dash for statement so I can easily decipher between the two. Especially some of you like to argue amongst yourselves right within the chat, which is completely fine, but I just want to be able to ignore those things. So it does not hinder the person that is attempting to listen on the back half. I do need to give a giant shout out to today's sponsor that just so happens to be William Mattar. Folks, if you were ever hurt in a car, you better call William Mattar, #1 car accident attorney in the state of New York. I would never wish a car accident on anybody, but say that it does happen, then you need to make sure you have the right representation and look no further than our good friend William Mattar, folks. Shout out to William for being a proud sponsor of this channel for the entirety of the 2025 NFL season. Let's go ahead and get into it. Walk it. We have DTN. He's a known Patriots fan in the chat, locking in with us right now. Once the schedule releases, we will know when and where the AFC East Roundtable party will take place. We have DTN is coming with a great question about the AFC East Roundtable. Yeah, most definitely. I'm not going to lie to you, my friend. We're not entirely convinced that we're going to be putting together a Patriots event this year in Foxborough. However, we are doing a Buffalo event. We are doing a Jets event, and we are doing a Miami Dolphins event. Soon as when the schedule is out, we still need to put together a couple of things as far as putting together like ticket packages. And say, for example, we have enough pre-sale, and say, for example, that we have enough deposits, then that's going to be the determinative factor of whether or not we have these things, right? Normally, how we structure these events, and this is very exciting because I'm very excited to bring this to Buffalo this year, is we typically buy about 50 to 60 tickets where we all get to sit together in the stadium, and we also have a tailgate party where we ultimately end up having a live show. It has an open bar, has the whole thing. So a lot of planning goes into it. And say, for example, that we have enough tickets purchased by a specific point in time, then we will know whether or not that we are going to have the event. Say, for example, that the popularity is not there, then we'll go on ahead and cancel it because it's a business move, right? Like, we're not going to go on ahead and have an event where we know that we're going to lose money, right? So, but I'm super excited to bring it to Buffalo. I know that Bills fans are absolutely crazy, and I know that it's going to sell out within the first like 3 days, especially in Buffalo. I feel like Miami is an entire different conversation when it comes into it. But yes, I'm very excited about that. And please stay tuned for all of the details about the AFC East Roundtable live event, the Buffalo Bills versus whatever team we could potentially think of, man. That's kind of where we're at. We have Los Angeles Limited has come in. Is this the year we win the 1 seed? Favorable matchups, and Kansas City looks like they will be challenged in the division. And the AFC North plays the NFC North. It's set up for that, right? I honestly feel that this is the best possible opportunity for us to slap that 1 seed. And you bring up a great point, right? Because when it comes down into divisions that have typically locked down that 1 seed, and let's be honest, it's either been the Kansas City Chiefs or the Baltimore Ravens, you always need to look, especially when you're trying to predict who gets the 1 seed, as what's the competition for the AFC North? What's the competition within the division? And then also what divisions they are set to play this year. And Buffalo, for the most part, has a pretty favorable schedule, right? We have success against AFC North teams. We do, right? Like Baltimore, for example, like we struggled during the regular season. The Buffalo Bills, right? So the Buffalo Bills are to the Baltimore Ravens as the Chiefs are to the Buffalo Bills, right? So the Ravens end up beating us in the regular season, but then we always end up sending them home right in the playoffs. So I like our chances against the AFC North, and I certainly like our chances against the NFC South, and I love our chances against each and every single team in our division, right? Like, bar none, I'm going to predict that we sweep our division once again, right? Like, nobody really even stands a shot. I do think that the Patriots are going to be reasonably competitive this year. I think that they're going to give us a couple of like sweat games, but they are still 1 year into a brand new regime, and I think that there are going to be growing pains. But yeah, dude, listen, we are positioned beautifully to take the 1 seed based off of competition that Kansas City is going to be facing off within their own division, and then also with the Ravens, the Bengals, whoever ends up coming up. And because that NFC North is going to cause havoc against that. What games are you planning on going to? Also, farewell season feels storybook, don't you think? It definitely is storybook, man. Like, wouldn't that be crazy if we landed the 1 seed and won the Super Bowl in the final season of Highmark Stadium? And at the beginning of the 2026 season, week 1, we raise a Super Bowl championship banner in the brand new stadium. Like, dude, like that's Hollywood movie situation. Like, that's a Hollywood movie situation, man. We're going to have to see. We have Joe Rist coming in and saying, and the only seed Buffalo is getting is Sesame because they are buns. Oh, man. Then what are the Miami Dolphins, Joe Rist? We have TV and sleep. And do you think it's also an advantage that the what? What? We have, okay, we have, so the Blazer 10 coming in. And so I heard we have a 5th easiest schedule. And do you believe that? I didn't hear that. So I look at our opponents, and I probably wouldn't say that our schedule is too easy. We have certainly quite a few heavy hitters. It's nice that we're playing all the heavy hitters at home, where we're coming off of the season where we were undefeated at home. But say that we have the 5th easiest, and yeah, sign me up. A question / a statement. How great will it be to farewell the old and welcome the new stadium as Super Bowl champs? Man, you know what? That indeed would be storybook. We have Devontae coming in saying, I am wishing the Bills versus Steelers is going to be in Pittsburgh because those are my family teams. It is going to be in Pittsburgh since it sounds like that it's the Vikings and the Steelers in Ireland. That is now official. We have TV and sleep. And do you think it will be an advantage that the Bills don't travel to the West Coast and the Texans are the furthest distance? Absolutely, man. Listen, like time lapse and jet lag are a real thing for this organization. especially say, for example, that you had a West Coast trip and then you had to follow up with a Thursday night football game. That kills you. So it's definitely going to play as an advantage, and I'm feeling pretty damn good. You were so off about the Chicago Bears, 12-5. We have JP Rice has come in and does not believe my hype on the Chicago Bears. I have some hype around the Chicago Bears, man. Only time will tell, my friend. Both you and I just have opinions, but time is the true judge. Bill 716, give me Texans week 1. That takes care of the longest travel outside of Miami early. And I think the Ravens, Chiefs, and Eagles will be in 425 slot. I think Cincy, Bucks, and Pats will be the home primetime. So normally I would agree with you, but here's the deal, right? Like, we have all of the international games. So we have all of the international games already announced, right? And Josh Allen is going to be on the Today Show on Wednesday. And the Today Show on Monday said that they were going to be announcing the first Sunday night football game on Wednesday. So I don't think Josh Allen would be a guest on that show where they're supposed to be announcing the first Sunday night football matchup when they're just going to be announcing a random 4:00 game against Houston, right? So I think we're hosting Sunday night football week 1, but the question now becomes, who's the opponent, right? And so is it Cincinnati or will it be the Baltimore Ravens? I think that's probably the most likely suitors. So between the two. Ryan Hank, I'm pretty happy we didn't get out of the country. I hate watching those games. I am not going to lie. It's tough, man. It's definitely anxiety ridden, right? Because you don't know how the field conditions are going to be. And last time we were overseas, we hit an injury bug like no tomorrow. So low-key, I'm kind of glad that we don't have any of that either. Good day, Dan. Nick, what's going on, man? He's our buddy from Australia in here. Which team is the biggest challenge for Buffalo in the early season if they get them? So to be honest with you, man, I really hope that within our first 7 games, like I said, I want the Ravens, Bengals, and Eagles within our first 7 games of the season, right? Especially since we have all of them at home. Give me the hardest, most gauntlet that you could possibly have right at the beginning of the season, right? So I think the Ravens normally play us very well. So I think that would be interesting. Same thing with the defending Super Bowl champions. So I think the Eagles will play us well as well. But I don't see a team where I don't see Buffalo being wildly competitive. That's kind of where I'm at. Right now. We have Joe Riss coming in. Dan, I hope to meet you at the Miami event. Last season, you were recovering from your BBL surgery. I was recovering from my BBL surgery. Indeed, my friend. I will be at the Miami event. I think we're going to hope to do it a bit earlier this season. So that way, we don't scare away many Dolphins fans, right? So that way they actually end up going and they haven't given up on the season. But yes, I do look forward to that, my friend, and we will have a great time. We have Ruben 562. How confident are you that Buffalo is hosting game 1? I'm trying to book a flight/room, LOL. So you know what? So I'm internally confident, but I'm not confident enough to tell my boy Ruben to go and spend a $300 airline ticket in order for me to be wrong, right? But what I'm doing is I'm just putting together as many different clues as possible, and it's likely, but I wouldn't feel comfortable telling you for sure, hit checkout right now and buy that, because I feel like otherwise, Ruben, you're going to be really pissed at me if I tell you to do it right now. So I'd hold off and just wait for it. Like I said, so the schedule gets released tomorrow night at 8 p.m. EST. Just have it right in your cart, and then at 8:01, once it's secured, just go on ahead and check out then. That's my advice to you. That is my advice to you. We have Ryan Hank. And you think anyone is going to snatch up Gabe? I heard San Francisco had a little meeting with him. Yeah, for sure, man. I think that San Francisco makes a lot of sense since they're trying to moneyball a Deebo Samuel sort of replacement. But we will see. We have JP has come in. Who do you think the LA Rams were going to pick at 70? Okay, who do you think the LA Rams were going to pick at pick 70 if they got that trade? Who were the LA Rams going to pick If they did get it, hold up. Let me pull up the draft board. Let me see who they were going to go with. Sorry, I have locked in right now. I have locked in exclusively. The second round. I locked in specifically when we ended up getting the schedule. I'm going to pull this up real fast. It's crazy that Isaac Tesla was the pick for the Lions right there at 70 overall. Who do I think that they would have went for? Here's my theory, JP. My theory is that once Kyle Williams ended up going off of the board at pick 69 to the New England Patriots, I think that's when you decided to trade down. Because I do think that you were a little interested in adding one more wide receiver right into the haul. If they were to stick at 70, they could have potentially gone Landon Jackson. Potentially. That or an Azarie Thomas, one of the two. I would probably say that. Maybe a Ravel. I suppose we'll never know. But it is fun to discuss. Josh might also be talking about how the upcoming Hallmark movie featuring the Bills and the Mafia. He could, but I feel like that. I don't know. So it just feels like a little weird, right? Because Monday, so they announced it on the Today Show saying, we are announcing Sunday Night Football Week 1 on Wednesday. And we have Josh Allen. He's a guest on the Today Show. And I do feel like it's a little early, right? So for a promo of a Christmas movie, you know what I mean? But you could be right, Jerry. And you could be right. Bill 716, where do you predict our bye to be? I hope it's week 10 or later. I don't know why, but I just kind of have a feeling that we're going to get screwed with an early bye this year. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling it's going to be early. Like, we have been lucking out with the bye as of late. And I'm not trying to put that into the universe, but I just have a really good idea that it's going to be an early bye. Okay. And so the Bills usually have one or two bad losses every season. Who do you think might surprise them this year? So I don't really think that we had many bad losses last year, right? Like, us losing to the Texans and the Ravens last year, like, while it was frustrating and while we were injured, I wouldn't consider them to be bad, right? So last year, I feel like we really got away from losing to shitty teams that we shouldn't have lost to, right? So us losing to the Texans and the Ravens toward the beginning of the season, say, for example, you were to tell me that prior to the 2024, I wouldn't have been shocked. It's not like we're dropping to the Saints or the Panthers or something like that, or right? So I feel like the DNA of this team and the coaching staff, I do feel like, barring any sort of crazy ass injury, as long as we stay relatively healthy, I don't see us losing games that we're not supposed to. But so for entertainment purposes only, Jeffrey, for that exclusively, I would say that out of really any team that I could see us losing to that we shouldn't have, let me see. Maybe the Buccaneers, maybe the Bucks. So that could potentially be a game where I could see us dropping. Yeah. So one NFC South team that could potentially get that. And so I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. No problem, JP. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Thank you so much. I think the best spot for Gabe Davis is the Saints, and they need a wide receiver. And so Olave's concussions are still questionable. Yeah. Dan, I am watching you on a plane right now on the way back from India. Sean, what's going on, man? Listen, I am very glad that I am able to entertain you on that gruesomely long flight. And so I can only imagine how long that damn flight will be. But we'll see. Matthew Preeb has come in. Kyle Williams will be wide receiver number 1 for the Pats by the end of the year and will pass the 1,000-yard mark. I got to tell you what, Matthew, I was so pissed off when you guys made that selection because I wanted him to be a Buffalo Bill. You have a dog. He's going to have a great career. I can promise you that. Pez has come in. And can you post a picture of my Bills prediction schedule if I send you a picture and give me your analysis on my schedule prediction? Please do. Please do, my friend. Send it over via X or send it over via DMs and let me know where it is. We're going to have to see. We are going to have to see. So the Bills aren't playing in Ireland. They are not, unfortunately. And so you know what? And so I did my best to manifest it. And because I wanted my favorite team to play in the motherland so I could go and watch it. All right. But unfortunately, no Ireland game or no international game whatsoever for the Buffalo Bills. Ravens cooked us, bro. Worst loss in recent memory. But here's the deal, right? Like, would you have rathered that happened and sent them home in the playoffs, or would you rather have cooked them in the regular season and then we got sent home in the playoffs right by the Ravens, right? It's one of those questions. I'm still in pain about Kyle Williams and Kenneth Grant. Aren't we all? And do you think the Bills have a top 5 defense this year? So we were the best defense in the NFL when it came into turnover differential, right? We need to improve significantly on getting to the quarterback and stopping third down conversions. And on paper, based off of all of the transactions we made in free agency and during the draft, we should be able to, right? But I suppose we're just going to have to wait for execution. Right at the end of the day. You have TJ, what if we open against the Chiefs? For some reason, I feel like that's a game that's always set in November or early December, right? Like it's 2 playoff teams. Like, oh my God, who's going to get the first seed? I just don't think that the NFL is going to waste a good Bills and Chiefs matchup for week 1, right? I'm just not seeing that. We have George. Hey, Dan, it's George. And so I met you at the Senior Bowl this year. How about Bills Kansas City game week 1? George. Yes, man. I remember you. How are you doing, bro? How you doing, man? I met George while I was at the Senior Bowl. He made a nice little trip down to Mobile, Alabama. And so I think he mentioned that he was going down to New Orleans as well to spend a little bit of time afterwards. I hope you enjoyed your trip, my friend. So I really think it's going to be Bills and Bengals, just based off of rumors. It's probably going to be Bills, Bengals / Bills, Ravens week 1. And rumors are really heating up the Bills, Bengals right now. Like Chiefs would be interesting, but I just don't think so. The NFL is going to want to have that game that early, right? Because normally it's just a part of the storyline. Like they love comparing Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, being like, oh my God, who's the better QB? I think what they're going to want to do is drag that storyline as long as humanly possible and have it in the typical November / the December mold. But hey, I mean, we'll see. We'll see, man. We're going to be having all of our our questions answered tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST. Seth has come in. Would you rather be at the last Bills home game at the current Highmark Stadium or the first game at the new one? Great question, but I'm probably going to have to go with the first game at the new one. First game at the new one, man. I think that's kind of where I'm at. We have Seth coming in. Let me see. Ryan has come in. My guess is Bills versus Eagles will be our earliest high comp game and opposite divisions. Not a whole lot on the line. Entertaining game to start the season off. Like week 3 could be that, but so Eagles and Cowboys are playing first game of week 1 for Thursday Night Football. If Kyle Williams was there at pick 72, and do you think the Bills take him on stick with Jackson? To me, Bean does not care about the wide receiver room and really like Jackson. It's tough to say. Right? We met with Kyle Williams. And I'd probably hope that we would have selected Kyle Williams over Landon Jackson and say that that's how the board fell. But I suppose we'll never know. And who do you believe starts on the defensive line starting in December? So I think it's going to be a heavy rotation, but I think the starters are going to be Rousseau. It's going to be Ed Oliver. It's going to be Daquan Jones and Joey Bosa. I think when it comes into like the first set of defensive linemen that roll out there for the first snap, it's going to be those 4. And then you're going to see Landon Jackson rotating likely with Joey Bosa. And then you'll ultimately see Rousseau and AJ Epinesa and maybe Solomon just being able to rotate there. So so I do think that Daquan Jones is probably going to get the vast majority of the snap share at one tech defensive tackle. Maybe they go on ahead and fit in Deion Walker occasionally. And then with TJ Sanders, he's likely going to be out there situationally alongside with Ed Oliver and then also rotating with Ed Oliver. But yeah, so I think that's safe to say that that's going to be our starters for the most part. Nick has come in. Dan, and do you see the division games being earlier this year? Playing the Oats twice in 3 weeks at the end of the season was bizarre. It certainly was. I have a feeling that we're going to see a bit of an so with the earlier matchups within the division. We have Aislinn has come in. Bills Dolphins for game 1, so the Dolphins can start planning their first round pick. Hey, listen, you know what? Say that we have to do a favor for them. We will certainly do that. Dan, and do you see the division games being much earlier this year? And the 2 games in 3 weeks against the Pats last season was just weird. It certainly was. What's up, Dan? Go Bills. Jeff, I hope all is well, man. Things are exciting right now. Things are absolutely exciting. We have Mike has come in. And do you predict a healthy season? I always manifest a healthy season. Matthew has come in. And who do you got repping the NFC in the Super Bowl statement? The Bears are buns and Williams is a bust. So I'm willing to bet you a lot of money that is not the case. So I'm not picking the Bears to make it to the Super Bowl, but say that I had to guess who makes it this year. Give me the Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders make the Super Bowl for the NFC. All right, folks. That's going to have to do it. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the Don Mafia Report. Again, guys, I am live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. EST, giving you all of the news, rumors, things surrounding your favorite professional football organization, the Buffalo Bills. Tomorrow, I'm going to have 2 episodes, one in the morning at my normal time, and I'm also going to be live reacting to the actual schedule release so we could all react to it together. So say that you haven't already, subscribe and turn on bell notifications so you can be a part of my Q&A segment that I have each and every single episode. I love including all of you guys because you guys are the reason why I was able to build this platform, and I always love giving back. I love each and every single one of you. Please smash that like button, and I will see you a bit later on Roundtable Sports, 4th and Forever, your daily NFL news show. Deuces.